Hi everyone, this is Shane R. Monroe, and today we're going to be covering the Argon One M.2, which is a Raspberry Pi 4 case with a lot of deluxe features. And I know you're thinking, Shane, we just did a video of this. I thought we already talked about this. But it occurred to me that I probably didn't quite give it the love that it deserved. And so I'm going to do the video again, show you a couple of extra things that I probably missed last time, and make some corrections to some of the inaccurate data I had in the last one. So let's just get started. All right, so the Argon One M.2 is a Raspberry Pi 4 case that happens to house an M.2 SATA SSD drive. That's actually pretty cool if you think about it, because most Raspberry Pis run off of an SD card or you plug a USB drive in, but it's not usually set up to be its own sort of standalone mini computer. It feels some sort of almost console-like where you're taking out cartridges and plugging new ones in. But if you could have a nice big hard drive in here, maybe smaller, easier to back up, and easier to image SD cards, there could be a lot of use for that. So let's get that box out of the way. So this is the unit, and I've already pulled all the screws out for those of you from the last video who didn't like watching me unscrew screws. I'm going to just go ahead and I have everything sort of disassembled so I can show it to you. So this is the case itself, and as you can see, if you look at the sides, there are no slots. There are no slots on the top or the bottom. Everything on this device has been routed to the back, which makes this extraordinarily beautiful. For me personally, I like having everything coming into the back. The video, the power, USB, anything that I don't necessarily want to see, I like it coming out the back. So when I'm facing this and I'm putting it on my desk or whatever, all of my stuff can be funneled in. Maybe I can tuck this behind a ledge, and then it looks nice and clean and it's easy to get to. So that's the first really cool thing about it. If we look at the back, you'll see two full-size HDMI connectors. And this is a huge selling point. This is one of the main reasons I got this. And you'll see when we go inside the box why that's so great. You have a headphone jack. You have power in. It's a USB-C connector this time around for those of you who may be new to Raspberry Pi 4. 4 USB ports here. There's this little jumper guy that's between the two of them right now, and I'll explain more about that later. So you have these 4, and then of course you have an Ethernet plug and a dedicated power switch, which is another great thing that Raspberry Pis, you buy little power cords that have little switches in them. I've got a ton of them running around here, but to actually have one on the device, to me that's huge. So yeah, I mean, that's sort of the back end. It's very nice. It's clean. You get to have both ports. Everything is exactly the way you would like it. And this very, very clever design allows you to use this sort of USB jumper to this part in the bottom, which is what we're going to get to next. So if we take the bottom off, there's no cabling, there's no wires connected, which is fantastic. So what we have here on the bottom is really essentially a USB adapter for an M.2 SSD drive. And this is 128 gigabytes. I didn't spring big money for it because I hadn't ever used one. Certainly not in a Pi. I didn't know I was even going to be able to get it to work. So I thought, $20 I could throw down that. So you put it in here, it screws down, it connects with a standard connector, and there's enough circuitry in here to give you essentially a USB reader for that drive built into the case. It's beautiful. It's an amazing piece of craftsmanship. And then when you throw in this pass-through, which actually connects it to the Pi, it's unbelievable. What a great piece of engineering. I love it. I love this case so much. It's not without its faults, though, and we'll get to that soon. This is the bottom piece. This is the USB drive portion of it. But let's take a look. What's inside here is no more amazing than that connector as well. So right now I'm going to go ahead and pull this board off, and it's plugged into the GPIO. So it's kind of got its own little bite here. Just trying to get this off without bending any pins or doing any sort of damage. There we go. So we'll put this top to the side and we'll take a look at what we have here. This, of course, if I disconnect this guy, which is very tight fit, this is the Raspberry Pi 4. There's an SD card, of course, in there. And this is the unit as it comes out of the box, right? So this is important to know what this case is buying you. So here, of course, you have your USB-C, but 2 micro HDMI ports. Who has a micro HDMI cable? So right away with that Pi 4, you're going to be buying some sort of cable or converter to make these ports into something halfway useful, right? You have your audio coming out the side, and of course out of the back is your Ethernet and your USBs. Now, if you remember from our case, that's all coming out of the back. So we have to rewire some of that stuff. And that's where this little daughter board, I guess you could call it, this little add-on board is what does the trick. So you can see here it's got an audio and 2 micro HDMI connectors. And just slide it right in there, attach it. There's no soldering, there's no screwing, there's no latches, there's no connectors, and this is a very tight, nice quality fit. And boom, all of our connectors are now on the back. It's freaking genius. I love it. I love it so much. All right, so that's this piece, and then of course we have the top of the case, which is every piece of this thing is an amazing piece of machinery. So what we have up here is we have 2 heat sinks, and they comes with some thermal tape. Some you don't have to use any thermal grease, nothing nasty. Just put the little taped pieces down, and this entire surface, this entire top of the case becomes a giant heat sink, and the Pi 4 gets really hot. Along with that, of course, you have a built-in fan, which is absolutely fantastic. Your GPIO ports here, right? And you also have, this is worth noting, there's also a jumper switch that allows you to change the power plug or the power plug into always on or push button on. So if you really have a utility box that doesn't ever need power cut off of it, or you would like it to stay powered, even if you lose power when you come back, this jumper will make sure that that happens. So, and again, I've had a lot of Raspberry Pi 3s and I've had a lot of cases, and none of them have even half the features that this case does. And this case is not cheap, though. This case is like $45. But when you see everything that it gives you, it's really a lot easier to swallow that dollar amount. So let's go ahead and put this guy kind of back together here. And you're probably saying to yourself, well, what happens to those GPIO? Now, a lot of people don't use them. I don't personally, but a lot of people use Raspberry Pis as an electronic component, and they use those GPIO pins either with a harness or with isolated components. So where's that at? you know that because this case is just so crazy good that they've got an amazing, interesting solution for it. So I'm just putting this back on to kind of keep it together. So where are they? Right? Ooh, look out. Wait for it. Wait for it. Oh, is that the coolest thing ever or what? The pins are on the top. You can just pull this little guy off, and it's got a nice magnetically held top. So it's not going anywhere. I don't think I can make that fall off. Nope. And I was really trying too. So how great is that? So to me, I mean, I can't think of a better box than this guy for all of the features all put together. So some of the smarter people out there have probably already figured out, but Shane, there's one big problem with this guy. You're right. How do you get the SD card out? Well, the answer is you don't. The answer is if you want to change out the SD card, then you're going to take this guy off. If you had it on, right? Maybe you don't have an M.2 in here, but you like the case. And you're going to take the screws out, and you're going to take the SD out this way by hand. Now, that doesn't mean that if you weren't creative or had some sort of cool action going on, you were a Dremel user, you could probably Dremel a little something here. Make it have enough reach where you could get a little pair of tweezers in there to snake the card and put another card in. That could be done. You could also get an SD card extender. There's room in this case. There's some clearance here. You can probably get an SD card extender and route it out the back, and probably, I'm not sure how you would get that out there. You may have to alter the case a little bit more because there's not much of a lip right here. So you could probably just Dremel a little bit of this off and slide the card out, the card extender from there. They do have those. That's something I didn't realize until very recently, that there are micro SD card extender cables. Who knew? I didn't even think something like that would work, but they're out there. So that is, if I had to say, the one truly bad thing about this guy is if you change out SD cards a lot, then you're kind of out of luck, because this guy is really meant to be a workhorse. You put everything in there, use the hard drive, make it your dedicated Retro Pi box, make it your dedicated Kodi Plex box, whatever you want to do with it, but you're going to leave it there. Now, one of the things you can't see here, and I didn't show this on my other video, which is another reason why I kind of wanted to do this, is there are lights on the front of this that light up based on what it's up to. There's a power light and there's a drive access light. So what I've done here is I've brought out my beautiful portable monitor. I love this guy so much, and he never gets enough usage, and I'm not sure how well this is going to pick up because my camera guy is busy playing Warzone right now, unfortunately. So I got to work with what I got. So I should have probably tested this ahead of time, but I didn't because, you know, that's the kind of guy I am. So I'm going to give you some power to this guy. And I'm going to turn it on. And you can see right there, hopefully, the power light, and you should start seeing some drive light activity. Yep, the little green lights flashing on there. So you do have a power indicator there, and then, of course, the one thing I did not bring out was an HDMI cable. Very smart of me. Well, we get to make a cut. I usually like to do these in one take, but one take Shane's not going to be working out today, so I guess we'll cut the video and we'll be right back when I've got a cable. Okay, and we're back with the actual right cables for everything, which is amazing because this monitor uses a mini HDMI cable, which is actually more of a pain to dig up than I thought. And let's put it up to the Pi. All right. So with any luck. Okay, and so we're back. We actually have all the right cables, all the right power plugs. You got to prepare for these videos sometimes more than you think. So I went ahead and I plugged the Pi in, I booted it up, and of course at my angle I can't see anything. So tell you what, I'm going to come over there and be with you guys. Oops, and pull my green screen down. And there, oh yeah, of course we happen to have a terrible glare. I'm glad I decided to come over here. There we go. It's a little better. Anyway, this is my Raspberry Pi in progress, and this is using, I think it's called the Childhood Memories. Childhood Memories. Of course, there's always some ring in the way. Let's see if I can lower that, move that guy, so you guys can see a little something. I don't have a controller or anything plugged in anyway, but at least you can see the thing boot, and I get to enjoy my. There's emulation station. I get to enjoy my portable monitor. And now you're sitting here waiting for controller input. So I didn't get to show you as much as I would have liked to have showed you. But you can see indeed that it does boot up very well. It's very nice. I'm going to go ahead and move my light. So anyway, this is it. This is the guy. And like I said, see how nice it is to have all the cables just sort of back behind. There's nothing sticking out the sides over here, over there. It looks like a utility box now. It actually looks like it's got utility to it. It's not just something that you would be messing around with on the weekend. It's like, this is serious business type stuff. So anyway, this again, for those of you who may have skipped ahead or may have missed the beginning, we are using the Argon One M.2, and this is manufactured by Argon 40. And let me see if I've got a proper, let's see, was there anything else in the box that was worth showing? I don't think so. But, you know, we can look at it anyway. Again, there's some feet that you can put on it. I didn't put the feet on here yet, but you can see there's spots for it. I haven't put those on yet. Still pretty new. Your basic instruction manual in several different languages. Probably won't need the instruction manual for much, but it never hurts to look. And, of course, the little thermal grease pads were in there as well. And this also has, and it says on the back here, and I missed this, and I almost missed it again, is that it has a built-in infrared receiver. Now, I've never used any Raspberry Pi solution that requires an IR, but for those of you who are looking for the ultimate utility box, it also has an IR infrared receiver as well. So that's pretty impressive stuff. So pretty neat. And you can go to Argon 40, ARGON 40.com. Of course, there'll be links down below, of course, to order one of these guys yourself. Now, again, this was overseas. It did take a couple weeks to get here, so it's not like you're going to go to Amazon.com today and have it by tomorrow. You're going to have to wait for it, but good things come to those who wait. So once again, just to quickly recap, beautiful case. Lights on the front, GPIO extension on the top, all the ports are in the back, built-in M.2 disk reader, built-in IR, and built-in fan, heatsink cooling on the top. What a device, what a device. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, like this video, and of course check that little bell so that you can get notifications of our future videos. And I guess I have to get down here. I really miss having my cameraman. I'm Shane R. Monroe. Thanks for watching. Take care, everybody.